us what to do. Oh, it's so nice to see you. It's nice to see you too. I like your hat. It is Hats On for Mental Health Day. Today I was wearing my yellow hat earlier, and now I've switched gears to my jaunty little felt hat that Rich gave me from Vancouver. Oh, yeah, I'm going to do the land acknowledgement. First, the Creator gifted us with this land that we are blessed to share and care for together. We acknowledge that the land we gather on Makinstis is the ancestral territory of the Siksika, Sidipi, the Siksika, the Gaina, the Piikani, and the Amskapi Piikani. We acknowledge, all First Nations and Métis of Treaty 7 lands, the Tsuut'ina, the Ithkabi, which includes Bearspaw, Chiniki, and Goodstoney. We commit to advancing reconciliation guided by truth, respecting treaty laws, and humbly walking alongside First Nations, Métis, and Inuit. We recognize all who live, work, play, and make art on these lands, and who now call this place home. We're very grateful to be here with you today. Everything seems to be working a little smoother today. So.
Yeah, because I had a stand-in. Kind of like you're wearing a hat for mental wellness and sitting next to dead Kevin.
He likes to be part of it too sometimes.
Would you describe him as mentally well?
I would describe.
No. He's a little shy.
He's shy, but like, is it us or him that's struggling the more?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Right. All right.
Ready.
Oh, hey.
Shenanigans. Is that too? Oh, there's a lot happening in the background.
I care.
No, I like it.
I like it.
It's electric. We have the world's most sets of curtains for a house that doesn't have curtain rods in the world.
I like that.
I mounted some like plaques on the walls. Put eyelets into the plaques and strung up some cable so we can have 2 rows of curtains.
Yep.
And every few months or so, we go to the fabric store and you buy a completely different set of curtains.
It's like seasonal shifts or like
well, it's nice for us, yeah.
Whenever we need some new magic.
Magic! Oh, I gotta share the stuff.
Oh yeah.
There's so much work. Are we wearing hats? I'm not wearing a hat the whole time.
Yeah, me neither.
That's a lot of concentrating. Okay. What are you doing?
I can put it in here.
You can do stuff? Why do I have to do all this stuff if you already know how to do stuff?
I just know how to do this. Copy.
Okay.
And then put it in here.
I beat you to it. Oh, you beat me to it.
No, it's going to be lots of copies.
There's lots of copies there. An error occurred. Boom!
What? No.
Yeah, the whole thing shut down.
No. There's no error on mine.
That's called denial.
I live on that river.
Yeah.
In that river.
You look good tonight. You look good every night, but you look extra good tonight.
It's because I'm wearing a jaunty hat. This lovely man bought me from Vancouver.
You didn't like it. Remember?
Because hats give me headaches, but if I wear it for a little bit.
When you have a hat on, you look like Fievel. Come on. Oh, I'm the one. I'm the problem.
I'm the problem.
What did Fievel say? Did he have like a lisp or something?
I haven't seen that in a long time.
I remember, what was
Whoa. Zoom.
Here's my hands. My hands in your face, baby. Hi, I'm Jessica.
That camera is so...
Which one?
Like, this is so soft and lovely.
I think it's struggling a bit with the light. So I think the resolution's down a bit because it's like fighting with pixels. But
oh, this looks nice.
now that it's like that, I might zoom it out a bit. Ooh. I'm still off screen. Actually, don't mind that.
First there was Gorilla. Oh, I keep moving in. It's you.
Yeah. She's killing me.
There.
Well, that works. Is anybody else going to join us tonight?
Did we
Did that sound desperate?
scare everybody off yesterday? last weekend. He's okay. Everything's fine.
Okay.
I'm gonna do some watercolor tonight.
Water. Okay. I don't have an idea. I forgot about this.
I was gonna try.
Water. Well, that shot up to 6 really fast.
Woohoo!
Everybody thought you left me for dead Kevin. They're like, oh, there's a new host.
That would be a pretty quiet live broadcast.
Be quiet, even.
Jessica and dead Kevin.
Is that you? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be a jerk.
It's okay.
I'm trying to just figure out what's in my. Do you want to squeeze it? If you're painting, do you want to squeeze in here and we'll both paint on? Like,
I like squeezing it.
That's so much better than the needle in the eye.
Watercolor.
Okay, I did have a request this week. And I'm gonna need your help for it.
Okay.
Where's that red lens?
I don't know. Your phone buzzed.
Who dat? No, it's not true. I don't think it's true. $70. Okay, I have a request. Somebody requested a thing. Well, there's a lot of things happening. Okay, I don't know. If somebody could just share the link to the people that like to join us, that'd be great. Overwhelmed. Okay. Do you know? Sorry, Jess. Do you know where that red lens went?
I said no. I don't know.
Do you know the red lens I'm talking about?
Yeah, the mirror.
Yeah.
Or the. Do you want me to go look for it?
Well, I'll tell you something. If I'd moved it, I'd go get it. But I don't know where it is.
We cleaned up over there now. I don't know either.
But those aren't the same things. Why do I go so crazy when I can't find stuff and you are so much more sane than me? Is it because I'm crazy? Tell me the truth, Jesse.
I think we have different things that keep us feeling sane.
Yeah.
Like I never know where anything is in my life.
But
so then I'm like, well,
as long as nothing, if you move it 1 inch, I can't find it. If, on the other hand, I move it, I'll remember where it is till the end of days. As long as it's not moved. There's probably like friends of ours that have heard this story a billion times. By the way, guess what?
What?
And they have all told me this. They all think I'm the problem. Everybody I meet thinks I'm the problem.
I'm the problem. It's me.
It's never you.
It's always me.
What did I just ask you? Why I can't find the mirror?
Where did you find it?
Where you put it?
Where was it?
I don't know. Over there, but I would have never put it over.
I would have never put it on the couch. I don't even sit on the couch.
Lisai.
You sit on the couch.
What I'm saying is, if I put it by the couch, I would have got it from the couch.
You did get it from the couch.
Ladies and gentlemen, it will be a very long night. Okay, so here's the plan. I'm going to do a complex drawing with my red lens and without my red lens. Last time I did a bicycle, because they actually are legitimately hard to figure out. But it doesn't have to be a bicycle every time. You can think of something equally complex, can you? Somewhere there's a shelf that needs these, and I've got them.
I think bicycles are nice because it's also spring.
I do. This is a lesson I do. So
okay. How about a Volkswagen?
How does that get complicated with two though?
All right.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna stick with the
hula hoopers.
Stick with the bicycle because it's complex enough to cause a problem. Okay.
Okay.
So here's what you do. Everything in the world. You got a scrap piece of paper. That's good. Everything in the world is based off the human measurement. So if I have a house that's this big, Jesse.
Yeah.
Is it a big house or a little house? If I have a tree right next to it, looming over the house, is it a big house or a little house? Well, if I have a door that's right here and 50 windows, it's suddenly a giant house, right?
Yeah.
So this right here, it's a big house because the human attached to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We measure horses in human hands. We measure rooms in the feet of the king. My knuckle, where's my knuckle? Is the king's inch. Yeah. Measure all things, but you ignore them.
No, I'm not at all.
We done.
Shouldn't have been checking my email.
Are we having a conversation?
Okay, yes.
What was I saying?
The thumb. Everything's measured against human body parts.
Right.
Foot, knuckle. I didn't know that, the king's inch.
No. That's actually why I asked if you're listening, because I've said that not exactly as often as the times that
Kelly's here.
Hi Kelly. Can you share the link?
Here, I'll let her to the thing.
Kelly, you look fantastic.
Should I unmute her?
If did she mute herself?
Oh, maybe she muted herself.
Okay, so basically, if I'm driving a bicycle, this point here, this dot, that's the point that matters, because that's the axle that my pedals are attached to the frame with. It's the crank, okay? And this would be my front gear, okay? But this spot right here, that's where everything attaches to. That's where all my weight sits. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a crank up and a crank down. You got me?
Mm-hmm.
When you were a kid, there was a joke about this being a sombrero, right?
No.
Oh, okay. And then there'll be two pedals that will be flat. And I did a thing there because I made this crank too long and that one too short. What I did is I put this pedal on top of the crank and this one over the top of the bottom, okay? And I did leave a space here. That's not mandatory, but I'm showing that this is the front crank and that's the back crank. You got it?
Mm-hmm.
If this dot's here, then I'm just going to estimate that the other dot's going to be there. Okay, so these two dots dictate my drawing. This is the core point. If these two dots are here, then I make a triangle with a dot there. Okay, so I've got a 1, 2, 3, a trifecta. What I'm going to do is make that triangle right down to the frame. I'm going to shade this in so it's just a silhouette. Okay, I'm going to put a straight line across here to that one first dot, and I'm going to finish off this triangle. Okay, I got a triangle and a crank. Okay, now if I take this here and I put a gear ring here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I estimate from here to here. I don't want to go quite to the end, but if I take a spot and I just arbitrarily between these two decide if the wheel was any bigger than this, it would touch the bar. So that's going to be my distance from the center of the wheel to the outer rail, and that'll be the same distance to the bottom and the same distance to the top and the same distance to the back. And that gives me a nice, good sense of how big my back wheel is going to be.
That is so satisfying.
Right. Now, that's not a perfect circle, but I can even it out a bit. Okay.
Has some rubber on it.
Right. That's my back wheel. Now, this dot and this dot is going to make that dot. Got it? That's 1, 2, 3. If this dot and this dot is there, then there's going to be a bar that comes straight across here, right? And it's going to end where this one and this one are parallel.
Oh, cool.
Wait, are you mocking me?
No, I've watched you do this so many times, and I always mess stuff up.
Okay, so
oh, you're here. We didn't know if you wanted to be muted, so we left you.
I'm upstairs again today just because my shoulder's really bothering me.
That's okay. Nice to see you, Kelly.
But I'll be in and out. Sorry, Rich.
That's okay.
So I'll be in and out. I sent it to Zach and Theo.
Thank you for doing that, Kelly.
And it's a nice outfit, Jess.
Oh, thanks. It's like a floofy.
Hey, Kelly, you want to draw bikes with us?
Nope. I'll watch.
Okay. My next triangle goes just a little bit past this line here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's coming up not right up to the tip. That's the only real thing is you got a piece of that triangle cut off, and this connects. Now here I'll probably have a silver one here, right? But I can make that black because it's my seat post, and then I put a seat on the bike or job. And Kelly, I don't know if you know this, but when I start this lesson with the kids, I always ask them to start by drawing a bicycle from memory. Then I show them how to do this. Okay. Same thing. If this is from here to here, then this is from here to there.
Mm-hmm.
This is from here to there. This is from here to there. This is from here to there. And then, I did that a bit low, didn't I? And then I make a circle out of it. And if my front circle is a little bigger than my back circle, or my back circle is a little bigger than my front circle, it's kind of up to me when I'm making this tire whether I want to make my line my outside line or my inside line. So when this one ends up a little bigger, I can either color the outside of one or the inside of the other. And then from here, this line carries up, right? I like the drop down bars.
What a beautiful shape.
Mm-hmm.
I love the drop down bars.
Okay. And then here's where it gets exciting. You ready for this, Kelly?
There's Zach. Hi, Zach. How are you?
Hello. Good, thanks. How are you?
Good.
Zach, you want to draw a bicycle with me?
Looks like I'm late.
I'm going to do 2 bicycles.
Okay, I'll do one.
Okay. Follow along, okay? I'm almost done this one, and then you can follow along with the second one, all right?
Okay.
You have no idea how excited I am that you're going to try. So I put a foot on the back pedal, and I try and get the ball of the foot on the pedal more than anything. And I'm going to lose part of my bicycle, right? I've got a pretty correct bicycle here. And the more comfortable I am with losing some of it, trust the process, it's all going to work better. So I put 2 feet on the pedals. I'm going to put a big old butt on the bike seat. And I'm going to make one more triangle. I'm going to take this ankle and this hip and put a knee right there. So that's another triangle. And that tells me where this leg is.
So good.
Okay. And then I'm going to put a thigh on that. Put a little meat on it. Right. And then this back leg is slightly bent, but mostly straight. So it's just going to cover up a lot of that bicycle gets lost in that back leg. My next triangle is going to be this hip bone right here, and where the hands meet the handlebars, and the hand and the hip are going to make another triangle up here, where the shoulders slightly bent arm, right? Nice meaty torso. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is pop a head on top and have the chin lifted up. You can show the nose. Zach Abbott, when you're bike riding, do you always wear your helmet?
No.
Is it mandatory?
I mean, yes.
Is it mandatory in Vancouver?
Maybe. I'm not much of a cyclist. Yeah, I skate more.
Okay, and then I'm going to throw another arm on here. Not even fixed gear. I'm going to give this guy a jaunty hat. All right. Now, Zach, you with me?
Yeah, right.
Look at that jaunty hat.
So here's the deal, my friend. Jess is going to help me out with this. I'm going to do 2 cyclists, and I'm going to have them overlapping. So I did this bicycle. It informs where the person's going to be. I'm going to do a brand new bicycle that you can follow along.
Yeah.
And the only thing is, the bicycle is easy enough to draw as is, right? The person's easy enough to draw as is. But when I get to the point where I'm putting the second bicycle in and a second person in, it's going to get pretty noisy, okay? You know what I mean? Like I'm going to have a hard time seeing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to grab this red lens, Normally I would hold it in front of my eyes. When I hold this lens in front of my eyes, the bicycle virtually disappears. If I put this lens on the paper, the bicycle almost disappears. I'm going to get Jesse to hold the lens in front of the camera. Okay. I need you to move a bit. I need an elbow.
Okay.
And I'm going to put a second bicycle in the exact same way. Only this time, now I gotta visualize the first bicycle not being there. But hopefully, if you're watching it on the screen, you can mostly see the bicycle missing. It's a little bit there, but yeah, don't worry about it. No, don't worry about it. Because it's okay if they can kind of see it. But what this red lens does is it reduces some of the noise that I started with, right? So to start with, I'm gonna put where the axle hits. It's right there. I'm gonna put the front chain ring around the axle. I'm gonna put a back chain ring not too far away. I'm gonna put another gear around the back chain ring. In this case, I'm gonna just silhouette out the front chain ring. In the center here, I'm going to have one pedal come up and one pedal come down. I'm going to put two pedals on the, cranks. I'm going to put two pedals on the cranks. Okay. And between this dot here and this dot here, I'm going to make a triangle, which makes the back triangle of the bike frame, right? Now that doesn't look too bad as is, but when you pull that lens away, it's getting pretty noisy, right? Put the lens back.
Yeah, actually, that does help a lot on this screen. Like you can still see it, but it really does help a lot.
Yeah, it's even better when you have like a lighter. If I did an orange instead of a red, I'm going to extend the seat post and I put a bike seat on here. Okay, and then right about here is where the front of my back tire will be. The same distance will be the back of the back tire. The same distance is going to be the ground and the top of the tire. And then I take those 4 points and I make it into a circle. To my eye, I'm really looking at a lot of noise here. So if this isn't my best drawing, I apologize. But I'm really seeing there's like a lot going on where I'm looking, right? Okay, going back to that. Then I want to have a straight bar come across, right? This line here is going to run parallel to here, right? And then I'm going to have another parallel line that comes down like this, right? This might have a little basket on the front. Little jaunty basket, right? And then if this is my front wheel and this is the bottom, top of that wheel will be there. Back of the front wheel will be there. The front of the front wheel will be there. And then when I put that circle in, okay, these should be about the same size. And again, I can, because I have some thickness to my tire and my rim, you're not going to see it here because I'm doing it as silhouette, but when I'm doing like the rim separate from the tire, it does give you a little leeway to even out your circles a bit. I also, again, I like the drop down bars, but in this case I might do like more of a, like she's got a jaunty trail bike here, right? I put 1 foot on the top pedal, right? I put another foot on the bottom pedal. And as I'm losing some of the details in my bike, I'm trusting the process. This is going to make a nice comprehensive double bike rider in the sunset. I'm going to put a butt on the bike seat. It's just a big round ball, right? And then of my other drawing, I'm losing a lot of the detail of the other guy, right? Between this ankle and this butt, I'm going to put a triangle to make the knee. So this is the one leg coming up. Just wiped out my handlebars. And then a top thigh. So my spray marker. The bottom leg is more straight, but it still does have a little bit of a bend. And I'm losing a lot of information with this back leg. It's covering up a ton of stuff. But again, this is one of those things that the more you sacrifice what you think was good and allow the whole thing to come together and make sense, the more that the final piece will make sense. I'm going to put a hand on this handlebar. This butt cheek here, this hand will inform the shoulder. So she's a little more reaching forward. That's one arm. You'll usually have two arms kind of near each other on the front handlebars, so you can indicate that any way you want, right? And then I'll put another torso on. Right? And then chin up, right? And maybe she's got more of a little jaunty bike polo hat, right? And possibly a scarf or something. And maybe even a little backpack, right? Okay. And then, so I have a cyclist here. Do I have all the pieces? I'm not looking at this. Okay. Yeah. When I pull this lens off, bam, I've got two cyclists.
Two friends.
And then obviously the reason I did the one cyclist in red the first time was I wanted to make him invisible so that I could concentrate on the second one. So if I take this where the red marker is and color that over, this is both two suggestions. Is the one suggestion is I can show you how to draw a human riding a bicycle off the top of my head by breaking everything down to the axle that his foot rests on. The second thing we're doing here, we're taking kind of something that's a little too intricate to see through, right? I guarantee you, if I just drew the silhouette of two people on bikes, I'd be making up fudge in the middle here where the knees go.
100%.
And I would probably get away with it.
Right.
Because we're often like, oh, this is where everything's obscured and fudged.
Yeah.
But that's also where your bicycle friends come by and go, oh, like to my horror, the hunting kids in my class, the kids, what?
His bike.
Love it. The kids in my class that hunt.
Oh my God, that's so good.
It's amazing. The kids.
Yeah, I had a good teacher.
Shut up. Okay. One day I drew a moose at the auction. I drew a moose and I brought it in to show my kids because they were really into hunting. To my horror, I came into class, saw them sitting around my moose painting and found them like debating what kind of moose it was based on the antlers. I'm like, no, man, like I made that shit up. That's just like me. And it turned out I had a specific kind of moose from a specific place that had just the right antlers. But I was like, I 100% made the antlers up and it was a coincidence. Or maybe they don't know anything about mooses. What do you think of this, Zach? Turning it into the all black double bike rider. What do you think? And then I got, this is obviously they're just the same. When I say what you think, it's because I'm desperate for attention. I need you to say it good.
It looks really good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
Very good.
Do you ever do that where you're like, you're going to paint the whole sky, so you just use the back of your painting as the palette?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Especially with acrylic.
This bottle of blue, I bought to do Rob Braybeck's painting.
Yeah.
And it was just one of the inexpensive like craft paints in the craft section, not even in the painting section. But it does so much. It's opaque, and it must have chalk in it because it's very it'll stop the like this marker burns through everything, but it's not going to burn through this, right? Like it's going to stop the Sharpie from burning through. It's like a coverall. It's almost like a
gesso.
It's a little like a gesso. It's also a little bit like a primer.
Yeah.
Right. What are you working on tonight, Zach?
I came across this phrase, this like wild, like old etching.
Are you inviting us up to see your etchings?
It was like a carving. It was like this old carving. The Rhodas Opera Tenant Europa Seder.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like real old little like palindrome.
Palindrome.
Yeah, it's like same backwards, same forward, same up and down, same backwards, same forward. It's like pre-Christianity. It's like really old limestone level. Like,
You like ghost stories?
That's beautiful.
yeah,
Do
yeah,
you
totally. Yeah,
Do you know
totally.
that every ghost story involves a palindrome?
I haven't heard one yet. Maybe. Let's hear it.
Where do I start? Okay. I lived in,
Oh, this is firsthand?
yeah.
Oh,
Also, I don't believe in ghosts, so that should tell you something.
yeah, nice.
So if you told me this story, I probably would question your sanity. But I lived in an apartment called Teachers Towers. Terrace. It's about a few blocks away from Cafe Beano and across the street from Rundle College, which was an old limestone school from the early 1900s. I lived in a place called Brompton House next door. This is a pretty horrific story. So if you have like trigger alerts, it involves some pretty shocking stuff. And I don't believe in ghosts, but this 100% happened to me. And if you want, you can even look up some of the details on the internet. Because it ended up being like a news story that I think was like national. Not the ghost part of my story, but some key elements that relate to my ghost story are something you can look up. Okay. I lived in a place called Teacher Terrace, and I lived in the Teacher Terrace was a 100-year-old teacher residence. It so happened that the teachers at Teacher Terrace 100 years ago weren't allowed to date. So if you lived there, you had to be celibate and miserable. They're old brick building, probably driven by it. There's a funky statue or sculpture across the street. It's a brick building, super cute building. The rent's not too bad, but they only have single bedroom units and almost a whole house. So it's like moving into a house with just one bedroom. I was living in Brompton House, and I got along with my landlord quite well. And I asked him a few times because I noticed he managed the older building next door. Brompton House was like a modern sort of add-on to this place that's similar, but it was a very well-built studio space. So like one bedroom apartment with a Murphy bed, a plug everywhere you needed it, just everything you could possibly imagine, right? I moved into Brompton House, and then I started living with a crazy person. Totally
wonderful.
Yeah. And she and I decided to move next door because we needed a bigger space, right? Yeah. We moved into Teacher's Terrace, and we stopped getting along immediately. It was almost like she was possessed. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of friction that happened, but Robin, my daughter, was playing up on this prank that I played on my mom when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I did this stupid thing where I jumped down the steps and pretended my neck was broken at the bottom of the steps. Super duper not funny.
Not funny.
Everybody knew this story, so I was having like a birthday party. And while everybody was hyped up at the birthday party, the front door of our house had a long stairway that led to the front door. At the top, there was a skylight. And Robin ran down the steps and pretended she fell down the steps. And everybody knew the prank from when I was a kid, so it wasn't like cruel the way it was when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But it was also like totally avoidable. And I never used those steps because I found them scary. I also don't believe in ghosts. Okay. So when I moved into Teacher's Terrace, the very first, and the rent was reasonable with a roommate, right? Like it was something I should have been able to afford. But I remember the very first night I was there, I woke up at about 3 a.m. and I was like, I'm not supposed to be here. And I used to do this jump start fright wake up where I'd wake up like 10 feet away from my bed, flying through the air and land on my feet like a cat, right? So woke up in the middle of the night and I had this overall prevailing sense I'm not supposed to be here, which could have been just a night terror or something like that. No big deal. But I suddenly got the feeling I shouldn't live there. Things started like falling apart with the partner that I was sharing the space with. Robin had gone down the steps to play this prank, but I was super bothered that she was at the bottom of the steps. I was also quite intrigued what it would feel like at the bottom of the steps because I never used those steps. They were also kind of a shared vestibule that we shared with our neighbor. And I think because the girl I was with was going a little nuts, the neighbor thought that I was like crazy because there's a lot of screaming and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So I avoided the front end of the building. Found the steps scary. One night, though, I looked down the hallway quite late and saw that the moonlight was casting a beam right down the steps because there was a skylight that had been put in over top of the stairwell after renovations, right? I saw this moonbeam carrying all the way down to the bottom of the steps. And I thought, if I go lay at the bottom of the steps, I'll be able to look at the moon from my own apartment. So I went to the bottom of the steps and I laid down with my feet and body on the steps and my head at the bottom where the moonbeam was shining in. Mm-hmm. And my partner at the time, just to let you know, this part isn't a ghost story. She was wearing a mud pack. She hadn't told me she had a mud pack on. She just happened to have a mud pack on. And so she stuck her head around the corner at the top of the steps and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" Because I think we were going out. And I looked up at the top of the steps and saw her face with a white mud pack on her face. And I flipped out because from where I was sitting, all I could see was the like what we've done tonight, just the backlight of her. But the face looked wrong and off, right? Oh. So I pinched my eyes shut. I was like, that looked weird. That looked weird. And to be fair, she was very sweet. She came down the steps and she sat down next to me and said, "What are you doing? Like, let's have a look. Like, I can try too."
Can I see too?
Yeah. And I was sitting next to her, eyes pinched shut, terrified. She kind of snuggled in next to me. I finally opened my eyes, and when I saw her up close with the mud pack on, I left my body. And by that, I mean, I was on the floor. In the movies, they would have that sound of a door slamming shut with a whoosh.
Yeah.
There was a whoosh and a slam. And the next thing I knew, I was about 4 feet out, pressed up against the wall, looking at myself on the floor, looking at her kind of giggling, looking at myself in a catatonic state.
Oh.
My own true self was outside of my body,
right.
Looking at myself going, "You've got to get back into your body right now, man." And I remember talking to myself in third person going, "You need to get back in there, man, or you're not going to make it." And I was looking at my face turning white. And I was also kind of like, I was like, "It's just a mud pack. You know, it's just a mud pack. Come on, buddy, get back in there." And I was frozen. And then finally, my brain kind of accepted. I was just spooked because she had a mask on, like a mud mask. I went back into my body, cooled off, just kind of said, "Look, I got to take a walk." So instead of going out to the drinking establishment for a tasty beverage, we just went out for a walk in the middle of the night. And I had school the next day, and she had to work the next day. On the walk, I was kind of talking about the fact that there's a lot of places I didn't want to go for help, but I felt like I needed help. I knew if I went to speak to a psychologist, they would tell me I probably needed medication and more sleep because I wasn't sleeping those days.
Right.
I did not want to go talk to any kind of religious leader about this because it conflicted with whatever childhood beliefs I was raised with. Okay. And furthermore, I definitely didn't want to talk to somebody that worked in a vitamin store or sold witchcraft pieces or did cleansings. And I flat out said to my partner, I don't want to talk to anybody that does cleansing. They're just going to charge me $50 to do a cleansing on the building, right? Mm-hmm. But I did have a feeling often in that building that I was walking through somebody's bad experience, right? Zach, are you with me?
Yeah. You're like walking through somebody else's spider webs.
Yeah. Does this sound like bullshit?
No, I'm with you.
Okay, well, this is my story. I was walking around talking to my partner about thinking that I was going crazy, not knowing where to look for help. My mom was superstitious and talked about the witching hour. So once it went past 1 o'clock in the morning, I figured I was safe and I went home and went to sleep. The next morning, we got up and she went to work. I had the morning off and I went to Cafe Vino. I bought myself a coffee. Zach, I woke up with a palindrome on my lips.
What did it say?
Devil dog.
Devil dog.
God lived.
Whoa.
I dreamt about writing a palindrome and worked out devil dog in my head while I was sleeping.
Whoa.
So I woke up. Well, it's not even woo. Where would I get devil dog from if my brain hadn't fed me a palindrome in my dream? Like that's a pretty smart dream brain, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, oh, in my sleep, I made half a palindrome. I was going to make a whole sentence that went forwards and backwards. So I went to the cafe with my all clever. I already had devil dog or God lived, and I spent like an hour trying to come up with another palindrome that I could work into a sentence.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to create a whole sentence that worked forwards and backwards. After an hour, guess how many more palindromes I came up with?
One more?
One more. And it was a crappy one. It was yes or could be reversed to Rosie? No, yes or and Rose. What's yes or? Yeah, Rosie. And, yeah. So I thought if I could somehow sew one or two more palindromes into a sentence that said, Rosie is your devil dog or something, yes or God lived, right?
Yeah.
And I wasn't like trying to be cheeky or anything. I just woke up with devil dog had been served to me in my sleep, right? And literally, when I spent an hour really using my adult brain trying to come up with something else, I came up with nothing else. And I was about to give up. And this kind of older lady with too much stuff bumped into my coffee and spilled my coffee on my poster that I was working. I just had a sheet of paper out and I was scrambling out ideas. And after an hour, I had nothing but devil dog and Rosie. And she bumped in my table. She goes, oops, I'm sorry. And I go, that's okay. She goes, oh, I have a devil dog. Are you working on a mind map? And I was like, I don't know what a mind map is. I'm working on a palindrome. She's like, I don't know what a palindrome is, but that looks like a mind map. And I have a devil dog. And I was like, ah. And then she goes, do you mind if I sit down? And it wasn't like a pickup or anything because she was like a grandma age and I was like in my early 30s, right?
Yeah.
But I said proactively in my own head, as long as she's not like some kind of psychic witch or something, she can sit down. But I want to know what she does for a living first. So I said, yeah, before you sit down, what do you do for a living? She's like, I'm in physiotherapy. And I was like, that's fine. You can sit down. And then as she sat down, Zach, she looked at me with big eyes and she said, but I also do cleansings. And I would never charge for a cleansing because that would be wrong. And then she sat down. We had a half an hour conversation about a whole bunch of stuff, which is a completely different conversation. That's the palindrome part of my story. Now, I phoned the girl that I was dating or living with at Cilantro where she worked. And I said, this is kind of weird, but this lady just bumped into my table and then sat down and said that she doesn't do cleansings. And I remember she started manically screaming on the other end of the phone.
She does cleansings, but she doesn't charge for them.
Yeah, I said that to that lady, the girl.
Yeah.
And I remember she went into a fit of hysterics on the other end of the phone, like, what the hell is going on? Yeah. And it wasn't even happening to her. But of all the weird things in my life, this was one of the cases where it was witnessed by another person. Mm-hmm. So that is one of the reasons why I didn't think it was schizophrenia, right? Otherwise, I would have. It was just by myself. I would 100% thought, oh, I'm losing my mind.
This is how it became.
Yeah, and I was much more likely to talk to a psychologist to get admitted into a clinic than I would be to go and hire somebody to cleanse my house. So what were some things that happened? She and I had a long conversation about some crazy stuff that Robin did that was kind of mystical when she was little. And I didn't tell her too much about myself, but she was convinced Robin was special. And that was fine. She agreed that she would like to do a cleansing for my house and that she would do it that night from home remotely. She needed my address. She wasn't going to leave the house. She wasn't going to charge me anything. She was just going to do a cleansing and she'd let me know how things go afterwards, right? Mm-hmm. So I gave her my address thinking, how can that hurt? I went home. I got in an argument with that girl. She and I broke up that night, and I never saw her again. I saw her again once a year later, more screaming. Okay. But she and I broke up, and that was the end of seeing her on a permanent, regular basis. And so then I was left alone in my house, finishing university, and the lady doing the cleansing said, she got back to me. She said, it's not a spirit. It's not a haunting. It's just some bad, like, residual feelings stuck in the house. Everything should be clear by Thursday. Oh, yeah, and I forgot to tell you, the morning after the cleansing, the girl I was seeing left the house and she threw up on the front steps leaving the house. We walked out the front steps. She randomly barfed and then went to work. I was like, uh-oh, I hope I hope she's not sick. Or we were kind of breaking up at the time. So,
Yeah.
right. A lot of reasons why I wouldn't want her throwing up in the morning. But we leave the house. She throws up. As the witch was doing the cleansing around the same time, a couple days later, I shouldn't call her a witch, but this lady that was like offering to help me out rings my bell, right?
I'll be right back, guys. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay.
Opens the door. I open the door. She hands me some cookies and says, "Oh, you have a vestibule? I didn't know you had a vestibule." And I was like, "Is that bad?" And she's like, "No, I just need to do the cleansing differently." And I was like, "Okay." She's like, "Did anything weird happen?" I'm like, "Well, my girlfriend left." She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I was worried that would happen." I'm like, "What the hell?" And then she's like, "Here, I made you some cookies." And then she leaves, right? Do you think I ate those cookies?
No.
No, I was starving and didn't have any sugar in the house, but I was not going to eat cookies made out of like dog foreskins or something, like I was like, this is a crazy
Nail of newt.
What did he say?
Nail of newt.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. Some witchy ingredients.
Okay, so listen, she told me at that point, and if I'm screwing up the narrative of the story for timeline, it's pretty close, but I'm not getting it perfectly right. She told me it would be 2 days from that point until my house was completely cleansed, and then I'd be free and safe, right? By the way, I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe the story myself. Half an hour after telling the story, it's going to occur to me that it all actually happened in my lifetime. And there's like 20 of these stories that have happened in my lifetime, but I still don't believe it. And when you see a movie and weird shit starts floating around the house, you think, yeah, they'd probably move out, right? Like in Poltergeist, you're like, that was the dad's fault. They should have left way before the kid, right? Should have waited until the kid fell into the TV to leave. But the truth is, you have a lease, and you can't break your lease.
Yeah. And
I had like 6 months left in my lease, and I was stuck, and the house was weird, and it was really ripping me apart. Okay, I'm also going to preface this. The next part is the part that a lot of people find the most fantastical. I could totally believe that a truck drove by and shook the building, okay? Thursday night, I'm sitting by myself. I'm not too crushed about the breakup. I'm watching Friends of all things on TV. It's probably 5 o'clock. It's reruns. I'm sitting on my couch, and it suddenly occurs to me, oh, yeah, my house should be cleansed by now. And at the split second that I wondered if the house was cleansed by now, there's two mystical part of the story that people really freak out about was, as I thought that, the purple exercise ball that was kind of squished that I sat on to do all my homework, that purple exercise ball everybody had in their house at one point? It's kind of squished down, and it looked like somebody bumped into it, and it kind of rocked and then stopped and rocked back and forth and came to a stop. As though if you bumped it with your knee and it rocked for like 20 seconds before it found its form again. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I thought, oh, the house is clean. Boom. The purple exercise ball started to roll. I watched it. It wasn't like a split second thing. It rocked for about 20 seconds until it fell into its place. I remember I got up to leave the house. I was totally flipped out. By the way, sober, and I don't do drugs, right? I might be schizophrenic. I never know. But I remember looking at the ball, having a flashback to being a 7-year-old that loves Star Wars. And for a split second, I thought, I can move that ball with my mind. And I put my arm out and thought, if that ball moves, I'm going to lose my mind. So I just left the house and didn't come back for like late in the night.
Fair.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty much the end of that part of the story. Not very dynamic, but the witch and the devil dog and the palindrome were all weird things that started to build up towards a story that does have a climax. The rest of the story is a little bit sensitive, and I'm saying it on the internet, so I want to be careful how I tell the story. But I will tell you a couple things. One of the things is this story took place at a time when there was a fella that was being referred to in the news as the Beltline rapist, was terrorizing people in the Beltline of Calgary, breaking into people's homes and attacking them. I was working on my teaching, finished teaching. I got a job in the southwest of Calgary. The job I had in the southwest of Calgary let out at noon on Fridays, so we had afternoons off. Mm-hmm. I used to get home Friday afternoon about 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
Because of the purple ball, I flipped out, broke my lease, and moved out. I straight up told my landlord I'm moving out because there's some weird shit in that house and I can't deal with it.
Yeah.
He was kind of an older sort of mentor friend of mine. Mm-hmm. He did not like or trust me after I moved out, but he gave me my damage deposit and let me go, and did not have any experience with believing that that building was haunted. I don't believe in hauntings, but I needed to break my lease because I had a bad connection with that space. Right. I moved here into the other tower and the Continental Towers. A year later, not a year later, that same year, so within my lease, right, I should have been back in the apartment, but I moved to Continental Towers. I must have talked to the girl I broke up with a few times. At one point, we went out to dinner to talk about all this stuff.
Yeah.
She didn't want to talk about it, but invited me out to go talk about it. She wanted to talk about how it was something she was putting out of her mind.
Yeah.
We were at that place with the funny little hats, the Vietnamese place on 17th Avenue.
Yeah.
I was considering the idea that it didn't happen, said maybe it didn't happen. I put my cup down on the table. Again, it is totally possible that a truck shook the building. But when I put my cup down on the table, it kind of like did a wobble like that for about like 4 or 5 seconds. It came to a stop. And again, she didn't scream at the restaurant, but me and one other person that I guess I don't speak to anymore witnessed the cup spin across the table. And I was by myself when the purple ball shook. There's nothing she would confirm about me leaving my body. That happened inside my head. But she also, in that conversation, was talking about how as soon as we moved into that place, we went from like getting along to really hardcore not getting along, right? And just manic meltdowns over like crazy stuff, right? Yeah. So I moved out of that place. Couple bit of backstory. There was a baseball bat stashed by the front door at the Rumble House. There's a baseball bat stashed by the front door of Gorilla House. There's a baseball bat stashed at the front door of this place. I've had a baseball bat stashed in my house somewhere my whole life.
Louisville Slugger.
A Louisville Slugger. It's kind of a gag more than a prop. It's more prop, not a tool, right? But I did used to keep a baseball bat leaned up against the door by the front door.
Yeah.
The girl phones me up. I'm living in the Continental Towers. She says, "Have you seen the news?" I say, "I haven't seen the news." She says, "Something really horrible happened at your apartment." I didn't even think she meant at the teacher's apartment, because I assumed she meant at a previous place that I lived in Victoria Park.
Right, that it would have happened.
Right, and so I was quite confused about what she was explaining, but she said the Beltline rapist was apprehended after attacking my neighbor in the vestibule of my building.
That gives me shivers.
He attacked the neighbor. He got chased down a few blocks away, got tackled and taken down. There's a picture on the news of where he was arrested. I can tell you point blank, the suite that I lived in was the only suite that had the original stained glass windows in the doorway. Each doorway in that building represents 2 units. I had the corner unit with the green windows. They didn't put the street address of the building he was in the news.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They did put a photo of my old front door with the green glass.
Mm-hmm.
So my ex phones me up. She's like, that was your apartment. She meant our apartment.
Mm-hmm.
She said, it's the same green glass, which didn't make any sense to me. She was sure that it was our suite and our neighbors. We didn't really know the neighbors because they thought we were nuts because of all the screaming and the mania that happened in that house.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's in the news, and I can find the link and send you that news if article. It doesn't prove anything other than I used to live where the this villain was apprehended. Right? That's in the news. That's trackable. That was a thing. Now, okay, back to mental illness on Mental Illness Day. I got off the phone and I went and looked it up, and I was like, to my horror, and I'm not sure why this should matter, but to my horror, when I pieced together that it was the newer place that I lived in and not the really shabby place in Vic Park, a lot of these stories collided in my head, and I had to teach in the morning, or I had to teach on Monday morning.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of went into shock, and I couldn't speak, and I kind of had that compulsion like Pink Floyd The Wall. I didn't shave my eyebrows off, but I went in the bathroom and I took a shower, and I felt so dirty I couldn't feel clean. I ended up shaving my head and not speaking for 2 days. I was so rattled by this news coming my way. And I hope I'm not telling this story indelicately. They put that guy in jail. And again, about 3 years after that, the news story came on that his court case was being not appealed, when you've been in long enough.
Oh, he was getting out.
Up for parole?
Yeah.
His argument proposed by his lawyer in the parole was that a ghost made him do it. All of those things are the true story of super weird event in my life that really left a lot of psychological damage, and it could all be imagined for all I know. But I can show you 2 news articles that relate to those things.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I write stories and books, so as soon as I'm telling the story, I'm recognizing that guy makes up stories. So how do I know this is real? You don't need to think that it's real, but all of those things are things that are real and happen to me. I actually needed you to make a noise like that to sort of rationalize the moment. But what's your take on that, Zach?
Yeah, I liked a lot of it. I like the dreamy nature of it. I like the palindrome energy. I like the false awakening stuff. I liked that like the behavior modifying nature of the poltergeist. I liked the Matrix NPCs or like some voodoo, the witch, kind of like I would describe
the, you know how I would describe the experience of the haze or whatever that was in the house?
Yeah.
Imagine if I smacked you as hard as I could, and then we both went in different directions, and then a really sensitive person walked through the same spot and felt violated. That's what.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Explain that.
Yeah. Yeah. Something spooky happened here, like that.
Yeah. And I really can't stress enough how much I don't believe in stories like that. And having told that story, I kind of feel angry with myself for sharing it.
No, it's like places hold and keep memories, and then it's like you are a sensitive person.
It is also like art that
radio.
You can make something out of plastic and put your whole soul into it, and somebody will walk by it and go, "Wow, that's amazing." Mm-hmm. And or you can make something out of gold, and it has no feeling. And I think the sense that we're actually talking about is there is a residue
Sorry.
that is what art means, right?
Yeah.
That was actually part of my TED Talk, the residue.
Oh, there's the. I didn't know that you. There's the light.
And then Rich said, "Let there be light," and there was. I hope nobody I know at work watched that story part of the broadcast, because.
But we'll know because you have a ghost story at your school too.
Yeah, but I don't believe in ghosts.
But you're sensitive and you feel them.
Or
They
I'm-
believe in you.
Or I'm crazy. Zach, you want to hear my ghost story?
Yeah, let's go.
Have you heard it before?
That one I haven't, but maybe this next one. I'm not sure.
Okay. So my friend Kevin at work wholeheartedly believes in ghosts. I keep saying I don't believe in ghosts, but and I'm telling you the story. I can draw it out. I'll draw it out on this paper and then I'll put something over it. My school cafeteria is long, like this, okay? And my art room's over here. And the band room is here. And then the rest of the building's here. And there was tables here, garbage cans here, some other tables around here, and some tables here. And there was a kid that I intermittently got along with sitting right here. So if there's a kid that I kind of get along with, I'll always kind of stop and make sure that they're okay, and make sure that, like, let's say if they're kind of like a pain in the butt, that that they know I'm not like holding a grudge. So I walked into the cafeteria and I stopped right here, and I'm just going to hypothetically say that happened at about 11:45. Okay. And I talked to this kid in this section of the room. Okay. There's 4 video cameras in this room. So when you look at the 4 video cameras, it's like a screen, and you can see 4 different views of the room. And they use this when there's like a serious event. They'll track it and make use of the video cameras.
Allison says residue is the perfect word. Things stick to us, affect us without our conscious knowledge.
Right. So here's me at 11:45. I stopped and talked to this student. Okay. I was carrying a coffee in a Tim Hortons cup. It was a disposable coffee cup. And it went down the middle. And then around here, right in the middle of the cafeteria, it was as though somebody threw a Nerf football and hit me in the shoulder. That's what it would feel like. Or if your friend came by and gave you like a shoulder slug, you know what I mean? Like that kind of like shoulder pound that you get. Right here, my coffee flew forward out of my hand for no reason, hit the ground and splashed everywhere. And this reminds me of that dream I had once when I saw behind the curtain and thought, I'm not supposed to look behind the curtain, because when I dropped my coffee right here and it splashed on the floor right here, I had a very foreign thought that was, oh yeah, I'm supposed to forget this happened. But I also thought, if I have to clean this up, there's going to be no way for me to forget that happened, right? Because
then it's like
by the time I'm done cleaning this mess up,
that's how your brain works.
my job to forget this
Yeah.
happened is going to record that this happened, right?
It's in your
So-
hippocampus.
Now, furthermore, if I were to try and describe my experience of bumping into nothing, I have 2 memories of it. One might be imagined. My one memory was walking through the cafeteria, feeling a shove, coffee flying forward out of my hand, watching it hit the ground, having a split second, oh, is this the first stage of Parkinson's? And then thinking, I'm supposed to forget this, right? My second version of that memory, which sounds crazy, which again, maybe I shouldn't be saying this online, was that
I think it's nice for people to.
I can almost see a kid tying a shoelace, being startled by me getting up too quickly and bumping into me as I walked by. That 100% didn't happen, but I do have a visual memory of that. Maybe like my brain made up something to sort of fill in
Make
what
sense
it
of it.
felt like. Okay.
Mhm.
I went into the art room. I got some paper towels by the sink. I came back in. I spent longer than I wanted to wiping it up. Once the mess was wiped up, I felt compelled to go in and tell Kevin, not because it was a personal story, but because Kevin loves ghost stories and I can't lie. So I thought, oh, crap. The last thing I want to do is tell Kevin I bumped into a ghost. But the problem with that is I knew Kevin would love the story and I knew I was holding out on him. So I go into Kevin's office and I'm like, dude, I know you think there's a ghost. I can't think of any reason why this school would have a ghost, but I did just bump into something in the cafeteria. And he goes, really? And I go, yeah. And he goes, that's amazing. I go, it's way worse than you think. He's like, why? And I go, well, I happen to know that there's video cameras in the cafeteria. So if you want, we could go look at the video. Kevin's 22,000% into the idea of going to the cafeteria or to the office and rewinding the film. Okay.
Yeah.
Kevin and Rich didn't know Travis that well back then. Travis is my science friend who would have, I thought, mocked me for saying such a thing. Turns out Travis is way more open-minded than I expected. But we walked down to the office.
Shout out Kevin and Travis. Shout out Kevin and Travis. Miss you guys. Thanks for visiting.
Shout out to Kevin and Travis. You met them, yeah.
Oh yeah, you did, yeah. So 100% back then. Travis was maybe a bit of, I don't want to say a hothead, but he was like really intense, and he was a science guy. And I 100%. Kevin and I walked down to the staff room. My vice principal was there, and she's talking to Travis. I'm like, hell no, I'm not saying I need to look at the files in front of Travis about looking for a ghost. So we go out, right? And Travis finishes up in the office. I regret this now because it turns out Travis would have loved to A, do a little bit of graffiti, B, see a ghost on screen. But I didn't know Travis well enough, and I suspected his position as a science lead would be like the guy that didn't want to hear the story. So I went and sat down, and I was kind of sulking over it anyways because the whole thing was actually quite overwhelming.
Yeah.
Travis leaves. Wild comes out, and she's straight up, you guys have something, tell me what it is. And it's not like I'm in trouble. She's like, what's in the treehouse,
yeah,
right?
What's happening?
Kevin's like, oh my God, Rich saw a ghost. I'm like, calm down, everybody. Something weird happened. Would it be cool if we looked at the video, or is that just for emergencies? Like, we can 100% look for the video. It's harder than you think, right? So we go to the video screens. It's probably like 1:15 by now. I could kind of remember it happened about 11:45, but everything kind of happens in real time if you're going to see it. So you'd literally have to watch it for 2 hours to find that split moment.
Right.
So we kind of scrolled back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And we were just about to give up until while we scrolled over, I saw myself talking to the girl at the table, and I knew it happened a couple moments afterwards. So I was right there. So we scrolled it back to like 11:45. I don't remember this exact time. And you see me walking across the cafeteria under 4 cameras. You see my whole body. You see me from the side. You see me from the front. It's the most documented weirdest moment in my life. You see my body shake as though I've been thumped, and the coffee go flying out of my hands. You see my lips move when I go, the fuck was that?
Yeah.
There's like a moment where I look at the ground, and you watch an adult decide whether he's going to clean up his coffee cup, which is everywhere. I sigh, my arms drop. I go in the art room, come back out with paper towels, wipe it up, begrudgingly go into Kevin's room. You see Kevin whipping out to the office and me kind of following like, oh, crap. And the whole thing seemed very much like it happened to somebody else until I saw it on video. And to be totally honest, when I saw it on video, I really had a very deep feeling I am not supposed to be looking at this. Klassen said, her name was Klassen, and while Klassen said, do you want to get a copy of this? I'm not sure how to do it, but do you want to get a copy of this? I immediately thought, well, I could videotape with my phone the screen for some memory of it. And I was like, please hit delete. I never want to see this again. And that's my other ghost story. It's not a very good one, but that also happened.
No.
I deeply appreciate. What are the chances, actually, that you live in Vancouver, and of all the people on the broadcast, you met both Kevin and Travis.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
In Vancouver on our field trip.
Great guy.
Scott was saying the ex-girlfriend purged the evil spirits in the building via vomiting. I buy every word. When you left your body, did you slam back into your body? That's my experience. How does it feel to come back in?
Yeah, re-entry is the trippiest part.
Yeah.
I cannot say I remember that with any incident in that case. There was once a rumble we had, and Elijah showed up, and I had a migraine. And the reason I kind of believe in the disassociation of leaving your body is, as a strategy, when I was a kid, if I had a migraine, if I sat in the dark with a cold cloth on my head and didn't move, after about 20 minutes sitting perfectly still, the migraine would be something that did make me want to kill myself. But if I moved in the slightest, it was another 20 minutes of suffering.
Yeah.
And I used to have vomiting migraines, so that basically every 2 hours I would get up, blow chunks, which was like weightlifting with a migraine, come back to my bed, shake and freeze, and then after like a long settle time, the migraine would subside. I had a brutal migraine at the Rumble and just decided I needed to pull myself out of my body. So I imagined myself next to my body the whole night, which is dumb because that wasn't like a mystical thing. That was just me trying to cope with the pain. But Elijah showed up, and I was still sort of sitting like 1 foot to the left of me. And I jumped in this truck. He was going to drive me home because I was in really rough shape. And I remember thinking, I need to go back inside myself right now. And I do remember like slamming the cement door on going back into that situation. And I think I had something kind of like a seizure. Like my body went into convulsions, and it completely overloaded from the pain of going from next to myself back. You still feel the migraine, but it was almost like I was imagining that migraine was happening to somebody else. I don't want to say also seizure because I don't want to lose my driver's license, and it definitely wasn't a seizure, but it was a migraine.
Yeah, it's more like how it felt going back in.
I actually have a couple more crazy stories if you want to hear them.
I love your stories. I was doing the watercolor while Rich was telling. Oh. Why am I so bad at that? Camera. There. My watercolor while Rich was talking. It's very wet. I need to wait till it dries a little bit. Keep going in. I like those red sunshines. Yeah. Okay. I think ghosts are kind of like cats. If you want an experience, they're not going to give you an experience. but if you don't believe, like you're saying, I don't believe in it, then I think they feel maybe more comfortable with you because you're not like they're not performing for you. They're like talking to you. Oh, thank you, Scott.
Domestic cats are a trip. They're kind of ghostly. They're kind of like between worlds.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah. Got that nocturnal energy, and then got the slotted eyes, like serpent eyes, but they're mammals.
Yeah.
It's not real.
They move like snakes too. They're very in between.
Right? Yeah, totally. Interdimensional beings.
100%. Yeah. Magic creatures.
And they're like deep, like strongly associated with witches.
Yeah, always. Yeah.
Yeah.
One day, maybe when we have a house, if that happens for us in our lives, that might be a thing. Because I feel like it would be too stressful. You have an apartment and you have a
Yeah,
cat.
it is. No, it's hard. It's hard on her.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to be a good pet owner in an apartment.
it would be stressful. Like,
Yeah, it's
maybe if you had, like, we were thinking about like looking at like a really old three-legged one-eyed cat, and then they could just relax and not not go anywhere. But yeah,
yeah. All they need is the arm of the couch and some wet cat food.
yeah.
Yeah. Couple of scratches, couple of hesitant scratches.
I had my mom had a cat when she got married. They got a cat, and so the cat kind of grew up like she was just a little older than I was, and so like there's always this cat in my life when I was growing up, and she was like an absolute wild beast, and she peed on everything. Like she peed on my Barbie clothes all the time. And she just, and like my mom was caught, like my mom probably had to clean my Barbie clothes more than like our clothes. And she just like, I don't know, the cat was like, I have nothing but fond memories, but I also know that she was like really like cruel. Like, and I was talking to my cousin and he remembered her peeing in his hockey bag once. I was like, what? Like, I didn't have that memory, but he did. Obviously, he remembered it because he said it. And it was just like, she was crazy. So I also would not be able to handle that. Like, you don't know if you have like an evil peer. Like, you just don't know that.
Yeah, yeah. Gotta get to the bottom of it, you know? Like, okay, yeah. Are you hungry? Did I leave this out? Is your litter clean? Go through the list of like, why are you doing this to me?
Yeah. And she honestly, I think she just like, she was just pure chaos.
Yeah.
Because I also have a picture in my head of when someone came over to play at my house. And I have a picture of my friend leaving the house with like blood dripping down her arms because my cat scratched her. So it's like, maybe like Rich was saying, like, you exaggerate things in your head, but like,
no.
Cat was wild.
Yeah, some cats are vicious.
There's one word that stops them.
Nice carpets.
Worms.
Oh, worms. Oh no. That is scary.
You eat pork?
Like, do we eat pork? Maybe not anymore. No, we have.
Does pork have worms?
I mean, it's I think the easiest protein to get them. Yeah.
I'm like so freaked out.
Where do you get worms for in pork though? Is it any kind of pork or?
Yeah, probably like the more processed, the higher, right?
I overcook everything. Like Rich has just probably gotten used to eating dry meat because I overcook everything because I'm worried about stuff like that. Yeah. See, we found each other. Yeah. If someone liked partial raw stuff, I think we wouldn't get along very well. No, that's not us. I overcook everything because I'm afraid of everything.
Can you get worms or just you're eating an animal that has worms?
Oh, I'm not a doctor.
It's just good to be conscious.
Are dinosaurs real?
No, highly debatable.
Okay, I'm just getting right here. Undercooked pork can carry parasites that people sometimes casually call worms. But in countries like Canada and the United States, the risk is much lower today than it was on Wednesday because of the modern farming and food inspection. That gives me no comfort.
Today.
Some wild game, backyard uninspected meat. Okay, that's good to know.
Backyard
pork that wasn't cooked properly. Okay, is there a part of the pork that is most likely? What just happened?
I'm just looking at.
I thought that shut it off.
No, I was
raw pork, homemade uninspected sausage, wild boar meat, backyard raised pigs,
Oh no, sorry. Who is this? They said, why'd you have to say that? I have 4 cats. I don't need 4 ghosts. No, they're not
Cats
ghosts.
related to
We
ghosts?
were saying that they're very like in between worlds. Like they can, like, we were gonna watch Dr. Sleep because and then in Dr. Sleep actually there's a cat that goes and sits next to the person who's gonna pass away in that one part, right?
Mhm.
The cats just know. They're not ghosts, they're just
Bacon?
they're just
Yeah, they just speak ghost.
yeah. What is trichinosis? Google that one. Trichinosis.
Trichinosis. Let's go.
That's a Dr. Seuss trumpet.
That's a reason to be thankful for universal healthcare.
I'm gonna go on vegan.
I'm going to read it.
Unless I can get worms from lettuce, and then I'm just gonna stop eating. That's how quickly I can spoil off of food. I'm like, it
You're
doesn't
like,
take much.
nope. Nope.
Trichinosis?
Oh my gosh. Scott, another time this happened. Look,
What?
Scott's been messaging on this.
Is that my page? Is it to Rich?
Rich, yeah.
Yeah, so we gotta check Rich's page right now. Right?
I will check it right now. Jeff Towers says hi. Hi, Jeff.
Jeff who?
Jeff Towers.
Jeff Towers.
An hour ago, sorry.
Okay.
But hello.
Hello. Hello, Jeff. Jeffrey. Jeffrey, the 1-2 Jeffrey.
Scott was asking, could Charles Schultz draw the perfect circle? Charlie Brown's head is circular. I was told that. I think that's impossible. Thoughts? I think the more you draw a circle, like
I'm going to show you the magic trick to drawing circles. You ready?
Nice.
Zach Abbott, seen all my tricks. Zach Abbott, do you know the trick to drawing perfect circles?
But you're like, whip your whole arm. What do you do?
You just relax your arm and you take your, like, I don't believe in rough copies, but we'll call this the rough copy. You just relax and you draw lots of circles.
Yeah, it's like hinging from your shoulder and yeah.
Right?
Everything.
And then what you do is pick the best out of those circles. Right? And then this goes back to my little red lens. Ba-bam!
That is a good circle.
It's not bad. It's not perfect, but you understand? Like the trick to circles is to loosen up, do lots of little lines, right? And then amongst those little lines,
You pick the best.
you pick the good lines like this. Ba-bam!
I, in the past, have done.
Is that
like,
also a pretty good circle?
Yeah, I've done like
Let's just look.
a square. Oh yeah.
Ba-bam! It's not perfect,
But
but
it's still
you do
good,
see
yeah.
what I'm saying, though, right?
Yeah.
And then yeah, there is a thing where you like hinge your wrist.
Whoa,
What?
that was intense. That was like really emotional. Yeah. I don't know, something really like.
Well, there's a thing where you draw,
Yeah.
but that's limited to the size of your wrist and the length of your
Yeah.
arm, right? My solution for the circles is, and you can do it with any tool, right? You just draw.
The kids in Viscom
Like-
ever had to draw like 10,000 circles,
That's a different one. That's where you go like this, 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 and this,
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 yeah.
this, and this,
and
this.
then yeah.
That's like a drafting technique.
Yeah.
I don't mean to poo-poo the drafting.
Here. Oh, okay.
I just don't want to end up back in my box, right?
I was going to
this,
garbage.
this with a ruler, and then you eventually make your. So you make lots of circles, and then you just pick the best one. Ba-bam! This is a fairly expensive piece of paper, and it needs to become a piece of artwork.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Only because it's so expensive. Am I going to go as far as to turn this into a painting?
Do we know anything about? Do we know anything about this?
What did he say? What did he say?
Do we know anything about this?
I've seen the etching before, but I don't know the history of it.
It's
I
freaking great.
realize.
Like it's the same every way. It's the same every way.
Oh, outside too. Oh my God.
It's literally the same, like the whole way.
What is the word that's being palindromed?
Rhodus, opera, tenant, Europa, satyr, and then Rhodus, opera, tenant, Europa, satyr, and then Rhodus, opera, tenant, Europa, satyr. It's like it's all four ways.
It's like what was that?
Is the
Number puzzle where they'd have to total up each way.
Like a Sudoku almost.
Sudoku, yeah.
yeah.
But it's driving me crazy. I just saw like a little YouTube short of it, and I can't get enough.
Like no one else. Who she drives me crazy, and I can't help myself. Just me?
Very good.
Just me, I guess. I'm gonna show you something wild. This blew my mind the first time I saw it. You see that?
The Princess Bride.
How people?
Oh, what are those called?
Yeah. How
This I think is similar to a palindrome, but it's
Is it anagram?
nope, it's not an anagram, but there's a name for it when you turn a word upside down.
Yeah.
Cleverness of printmaking, it creates the illusion of the same word. It's not the same as because this is they've taken some liberties with like a pretty,
it works with the swoopy letters best.
fantastic
Ambigram.
ambigram.
Ambigram. Ding, ding,
Look
ding,
at
ding,
that
ding.
sunshine.
The ambigram can.
The ambergram can.
Can.
The ambergram can, cause he mixes it with love and makes the world taste good. Are you mocking me?
No, I was laughing at you.
Okay, sure. Find me our poem about the gallery, because we created a poem like this as well that the
Yeah.
Zach might like.
Oh
What
yeah.
a great film, the Princess Bride.
Yeah.
Hated it.
No, you did not.
No, that's from Saturday Night Live.
Oh.
You can never make a deal with Devin with a Sicilian. No, I don't know.
You got it.
That was good. And
He don't think he knows the word. Use
I like the witch. He said love.
I'm not a witch, I'm your wife.
A witch, I'm your wife. That is
Billy
sweet.
Crystal. Shout out Billy Crystal.
We do that on the street because I'm deaf in my right ear, and people like shout shit at us all the time. And the difference between Jess and Rich is Jess is highly non-confrontational, and Rich is like, we don't tolerate that kind of behavior because they're going to end up yelling at somebody else.
Yeah.
So like we're walking down the street, there's this one gentleman, he's not a gentleman, who he's like part of the trucker rallies, he's part of like the protests for all the wrong sides. Sorry, and I saw him one day causing problems, and I intervened to get him to back off, and he started flipping out that he thought my Ray-Bans were like spy glasses. Since then, I've gotten Ray-Bans that actually are spy glasses. But he's like, why you got to wear those sunglasses? It's not even me out. I'm like, where the hell do you get off deciding what I'm going to wear on a Tuesday afternoon,
Mm-hmm.
And so we saw him like 2 years later walking down the street, and from the other side of the road, he's still yelling at me about my sunglasses. And I'm like, was that guy yelling at us? And Jess won't tell me until they're gone that they were yelling at us. And I'm like, you can't ignore that kind of bad behavior. And we're going down this back shady stretch, and there was this group of people having a kind of a camping party in the park on the the 12 stolen bikes and the shopping cart and a fire. And I guess she was like irritated that we were in her bubble. So like she starts yelling at us, nice day for a walk, which was her way of saying, I see you. I know you're responsible for all of the chemtrails and leave before my other dragon self comes to get you. And I was just like, is she talking to us? It's just like, I don't know. And then we keep walking. I'm like, was she talking about? She's like, she was yelling, "Nice day for a walk," and I'm like, oh, well, I have like 30 clever comebacks for that, and that way she won't end up yelling at the next person that walks by on the street. I just feel like you should respond to people that are being aggressive because you don't know who the next person is going to wander into this space, right? Just walking by and allowing that behavior. So what we worked out was that she's going to use her that's cute. She's going to use her
my old lady voice. She said
he wants to know why you're wearing those glasses.
he wants to know why you're wearing your glasses. She said she hopes you're having a nice walk.
Marissa Tomei.
Yes! I've reached ultimate Marissa Tomei.
Marissa Tomei wasn't in the Princess
No, she wasn't
Bride.
in The Princess Bride, but in My Cousin Vinny.
My cousin Vinny. Oh my god.
That's one of those movies that I need to be a better husband and watch with you. Yeah?
It's hard to find. You were a good husband. You're like
Nah, I just don't like comedies.
It's like
I'm not funny.
It's a badass 80s comedy.
I'm not a fun guy.
Yeah, you are.
No, I'm gonna hate it the whole time, but I should sit
I
down and
don't
watch it
think
with you.
you will, because Danny DeVito is very good.
Yeah,
and
ask me if I like The Big Lebowski.
it's not like The Big Lebowski.
Ask me
at
if I
all.
liked it.
Do you like it?
No, I currently don't like it.
Did you like
I
it?
did not like it,
I did.
but I sat through the whole thing.
I'm trying to.
I
find
felt like
that
it was
picture.
never gonna end. I also felt that way about Napoleon Dynamite. I was like, my first year of teaching, all the kids were flipping out about Napoleon Dynamite. So I watched it. And then I was like, nothing happened in that film. Like, why is that even a movie? And then it was Kevin that said, did you ever wonder if you might be Napoleon Dynamite? Here I was thinking I was too highbrow for Napoleon Dynamite. And then later on realized, oh, that's just, I wasn't registering the level to which everybody in that movie was on the spectrum, right? Like,
No. every role.
yeah. Did you like Napoleon Dynamite?
Yeah, but I was abusing narcotics.
What did he say?
He said he watched Napoleon Dynamite, but he was abusing narcotics.
Well, you shouldn't do that.
I'm trying to
I know you're just being silly. How do you feel about abusing narcotics these days, now that you've wisened up a bit?
I mean, to put my future political career in jeopardy, like, I'm down. I'm still all over it.
You don't have a future political career.
Uh,
It's impossible.
Not anymore, yeah.
I'm pretty sure I don't have a future political career, and I'm not nearly as nefarious as you.
he's
Oh,
just.
Canada, if you're looking for a dictator, you know who to call.
What do you get if you cross a potato with Hitler's penis?
What?
A dictator.
Dictator.
Hey, that's one of these fun.
I am trying to find that poem.
But yeah, no, I'm a firm believer in the substance. Stimulants, psychedelia.
It's right at the beginning, if that helps.
Oh, yeah,
Anyway,
I'm scrolling. It's just loading.
This isn't to say that, I don't know. Yeah, should I not be endorsing drug abuse?
We did ask. Did we ask?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did.
You don't have any worries that you're going to hack your own arm off or anything like that?
Yeah, well, I don't do bath salts. Like, but cigarettes, alcohol, marijuana, mushrooms.
Even with alcohol, I had some pretty bad ideas. And one of my problems was I was nimble enough that if I had a bad idea, I didn't really have a friend that could like stop me from my bad idea. So even just drinking a tasty beverage in the old days, I had some pretty I had the poor judgment. The worst part of that though is I don't think I ever did anything while I was drinking that I wouldn't have done sober. The only difference is sometimes I would think to myself, "Oh, I've been drinking. Like, I can totally pass this off as the tequila made me do it." Like, I would consciously think sometimes that I could blame the
It's the
tequila.
perfect time to do this.
Yeah, like I'll just act like I was too drunk to know better. And then, but most of the bad decisions I made drinking were decisions I probably would have made sober. Once or twice, there were some like mechanical moments where like I wasn't adept enough to avoid situations. I think there might be this one particular moment where I accidentally sent like a link that was completely unintentional to the absolute wrong person. Yeah, here we go. Do you want to read it? Here's Zach. Here's two poems at once. Do you see? Maybe you can't see.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The way it starts is the first line of each.
The first word of each line
makes its own poem, and the rest of it is one poem in total. And it was about Gorilla House. I wrote it on the first day. Jess is going to read it to you. First, she'll read you the whole poem, and then she'll mute it down to just the first line from each line that was highlighted in blue, if you saw in my hand.
Yeah.
This moment is precious. Dig deep. Place your heart on the table and ask yourself, is this thing still alive? Choose your most sacred weapon. Maybe a pencil, maybe a pen, a brush. Do not ignore this naked beast. It beats not just from habit. It beats courageously for you. Take note of the whole, in brackets, whole experience of separation. It is not essential to soak in this loneliness. For as long as you can, bathe in it. Take for granted this enriched moment, this precious second. It won't fester under your attentive gaze. Remember, your will is infinite. Remember, you are not alone. Not here anyway. You are safe at last. We can communicate with the others forever. Oh, others forever is a long time to have waited for this.
That's one version of the poem.
And then down, it says, this place is sacred. Do not take it for granted. It will not last forever.
Yeah.
So the first part was like an exciting battle cry, and the second part was a warning to attention.
Mm-hmm.
And both of those things came wholeheartedly true. This is the best painting I ever made.
I love that so much.
It's called For Jessica.
I love that. That is so joyful.
Ooh, I like that last line of the first
part, like the first poem.
Yeah, the last line of the first poem.
What was it?
Forever is a long time to have waited for this.
Do you know what's interesting about you saying that?
What?
That became one of our most important paintings.
Interesting.
On that week of the Rumble that I wrote this,
yeah,
Bassano put that line into the wheel back when we used to put funky stuff on the wheel.
Oh, the wheel was wicked.
And it ended up being one of the themes for one of the nights. Forever to have waited for this.
Yeah.
And it might have become.
That wheel was so good.
That was like very radio. That wheel, like.
Would you like the wheel?
No, I can't. I got a tiny place. I just had to get a storage unit. I do. Yeah, of course. Yes. Short answer, yes.
How much is your storage unit, if you don't mind me asking?
It was reasonable. I think it was like 75 to get started, and then like 30-ish for the first 3 months, and then I think they want like 64 a month.
We pay like $3,000 a year for our storage unit, but it's quite large, and it's filled with stuff that people haven't picked up from Rumble House.
Oh yeah, no, that's an art history vault. That
as we would throw stuff out, so like we have a storage room. It's about the size of You remember the back end of Rumble House where your owl was?
Yeah, yeah.
If you split that room in half, we have that much storage unit at the storage place across the street.
Yeah.
And basically, it was full when we started closing down the Rumble House. But I said to Jess 6 months before we closed, I said, we better start throwing stuff out. She's like, can't we wait until the end to do that? And I was like, okay, how much junk do you think we have in the Rumble House? How much stuff? And she's like, I don't know, like a couple dumpsters. I'm like, how many dumpsters do you think of stuff are in the Rumble House? And then she started piecing it together, like, oh, well, there's stuff in the side room, stuff in the back room. She's like, I don't know how many dumpsters of stuff. I'm like, 60. There's 100%, 60 dumpster loads of stuff in the art gallery that we need to get rid of. And then there's 2 rooms of storage that we're going to need to pay for, but there's at least 60 dumpster loads that we need. Was it 60? Yeah, it was
60.
Yeah.
60 dumpster loads. Yes. Our dumpster was about the size of,
It wasn't a huge dumpster.
half of our Volkswagen, right? The dumpster was like 4 feet wide by 6 feet wide by 4 feet tall. And we shared it with the building next door. We shared it with the framer. We shared it with the daycare. And, if the daycare did some cleaning up, the dumpster would be full before we got out there, and we'd be holding onto our garbage for a week. If the framer was doing a bunch of frames, the dumpster might be full before we got out there. We knew we needed to dominate the dumpster for like weeks, because they emptied it once a week. We could figure out when they emptied it, so we could basically get to it first. And I would fill 3/4 of the dumpster as soon as it was empty. And then the next couple days, I'd give them to put some other stuff in the dumpster. And if there's any space left before they empty the dumpster, I would top it off. And we did that 60 weeks in a row. And then ran out of junk by the time we closed, and I dislocated my arm. And then we also filled the entire storage space. And the way we filled the storage space was, let's say somebody bought a piece of artwork in 2014 and didn't pick it up, and it was 2025. We took the oldest pieces of artwork and we moved them into the storage space. We would throw out our own stuff from the storage space and move the artwork back. And then when the room got full and there was no more room for us to throw out, and we had no more of our own stuff to throw out, we would take the artworks that hadn't been picked up and try and contact the people. And if they didn't pick them up, sometimes they'd contact us and say, oh, I'm coming to get that any day now. We would keep moving the pieces closer to the back. And then when they touched the wall, dumpster. And so we're gradually taking the oldest pieces, keeping them as long as we could, and then throwing out the oldest pieces, and then moving the newer pieces in place of the oldest pieces, like a rotating schedule. So basically it would take about 2 months from moving the artwork into the storage before it went to the garbage. And by that, it was like, okay, by the time it went to the storage, we were done with it at the gallery. And we would say this, like, instead of throwing your stuff out, if you come get it in the next few weeks, you can meet us at the storage space and get it. But if you don't make it to the storage space before your piece moves to the back of the storage space, it's gone guilt-free. And then when we actually shut down, we got hit by a barrage of people that were like, oh my God, I left this piece there. I'm so embarrassed. It means so much to me. Can I come pick it up? And we're like, yeah, come pick it up. And then they didn't. And then, like, why would you make such a big fuss?
Guilt-free.
And then, yeah, sometimes now when people call me up and they're like, hey, can I pick up that piece? I'm like, sure, but it's a barbershop. You know, they're like, you mean like you're not there anymore? And like, no, we closed a year and a half ago. Oh, where can I get my piece? I'm like, well, you could go to the gallery, but it's a barbershop. They're like, will the barbershop have my piece? I'm like, I don't know. Will they? So, if you're online right now and you're hoping to pick up a piece,
It's always so much. It was bigger. It's bigger than it felt. You know.
Yeah.
we did some magical stuff with
It
storage.
felt so home. It felt so home. You know, and it was a tight space. And
Yeah.
It did. It felt like a rumpus room or like a something.
Well, the weird thing is, Jess and I know so little about our actual home. We've been here for 12 years, and like we'll have moments where like we haven't seen the sunset in the apartment ever at this time of the year because we were always at the gallery doing something. And now we come home, it's like we've got a great view.
yeah.
Did you ever live in the Continental?
No.
Okay. I have this memory of you living in the Continental. And I think it was that you guys moved into an apartment that you weren't happy with and you moved out of.
Oh yeah. That was.
But I assume that was the Continental because this place is equally shady.
Who's that? Who's the shady property management? Redline?
Here,
Do you recognize that name? Redline?
Red Line
Main
was
Street.
no Main Street shady. Red Line is that Larry Ryder?
Oh, I'm not sure.
I used to live in a number of Larry Ryder's buildings. I'm surprised he didn't know me. Larry Ryder also did Lori through the magazine, so he showed up in my life a lot. I think I was living in one of Larry Ryder's like sketchy places and also doing artwork for him. And so I had to be like polite to him at work, but I might have owned a rented home and he wouldn't have cared enough to know that like I was living a double life with Larry Ryder.
The connection.
Yeah. But it was also like you could just back in those days take for granted that everybody knew who Larry Ryder was.
I don't know who it is now. It's sketchy.
I guess Larry Ryder was about as famous as that guy Cam worked for that got like we saw him at
Strategic.
yeah. Like kind of like Larry Ryder might have owned Avenue magazine.
Don't make me call Larry.
Avenue magazine used to print large size, bigger than Rolling Stone, or the same size as Rolling Stone. But Rolling Stone was like $10 an issue and filled with world-class writers. And Avenue was like large format, but not filled with stories of Rolling Stone quality. And I was always blown away as to how Avenue magazine could afford to print at such a, when it was a free magazine, how did they possibly print at such a large scale? And then it was revealed to me that that magazine would lose money. But the owner of the magazine also was a real estate guy, and he could advertise his properties in the magazine that he was losing money on cheaper than by losing money on the magazine and advertising his properties for free. He could save money, and also there was like some sort of tax write-off involved in it. But I also remember when Avenue shifted to a smaller size, and also
I really liked, like that was
what?
This is nostalgia.
What Avenue?
Yeah.
The big ones, or
Yeah.
what about what it is now?
Mm.
With their 40 under 40.
Mm.
Jesse's 39, by the way.
29?
39.
We've been kind of half-heartedly waiting for her to be the 40 under 40 since she took over the art scene in Calgary. But my theory is that, like, just because she knows me, she's never going to be.
She's not over the hill yet.
Nope. Just peeking. Peeking.
When you and I started dating, there was this like reoccurring motif amongst like doormen at bars. This was the play. Jess and I go to the bar. She's like 27 and I'm like, I don't know, maybe 42 or something. I don't remember what the difference was. Big gap, right? And We're lined up. She clearly looks like she's almost 30. But the guy at the door looks at her and kind of smiles and goes, "Can I see your ID?" And then she's like, "Ooh," and she shows her ID. And then he looks at me, he's like, "Can I take your hat, sir?" Or something like that. Like,
Didn't check your.
well, no, it was just the intensity in which that they would, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just the smarmy look on the face. And it never once happened where the guy didn't come and linger at the table later on at night. We'd go out for dinner, and almost all of the waitresses would fall in love with Jess. All the bartenders would fall, cab drivers fall in love with. I'm not complaining about having a beautiful wife, but just get a little overwhelming at times, you know. And did I get jealous?
No.
Just the one time last week.
What?
Last week, that stupid Johnny Depp portrait prize. I'm just kidding. You had a crush on Johnny Depp when you were a kid? It's like my one like random thing I'm jealous of is Johnny Depp. Want to watch Chocolat? No.
No,
I don't want to watch Johnny Depp with his floppy hair.
Happy birthday, Jess.
It's not her birthday.
It's not my birthday. Rachel was just saying that no, it's not my birthday. Thank you. In January. I'm close to you. I'm close to your birthday.
So how old are you gonna be in January?
I'm gonna be 40 in January.
She won't be under 40. She won't be the 40 under 40.
He was just talking about that thing in Avenue Magazine.
My friend turned 59.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. I said, one more year, you'll be over the hill.
One more year.
He was telling me when it hurts. He's already fallen on. He fell at my mom's house, and now he says his knee's all buggered up. And I said, well, that's what happens when you get old.
He just broke his brush.
I'm gonna mail you a brush.
Oh, this is my favorite brush. I got it in Mexico.
Oh, that is bad.
That is sad.
Oh, tragedy.
How many brushes you got?
Oh, too many to count.
Right. In my case, after the gallery, I ended up with a lot of extra stuff that I don't need. If I leave a brush out and it dries and gets ruined, it's like such a relief. Like, oh, I can get rid of that.
Yeah.
I have an entire room full of stuff that is mural paint. And I'm not going to say where I'm storing it, because if I'm storing it where I'm storing it, they're going to say, oh, you're not supposed to have paint in there. But I am very much looking forward to getting to my entire room full of mural paint. Oliver's going to take all my printmaking stuff. I'll never make another t-shirt again. There's some cheap paints I was using because I had to paint so much at the gallery. And what happens is somewhere I have like boxes of oil paints that I haven't used in years because I started using the paints that dry out the least first. And so like anytime when I was a kid, I never had enough paint and I never had all the colors. And then just this year, since we've shut down, I've been so cavalier trying to get rid of my paints. And I'm way too selfish to share them. Right? I could just find somebody that needs paint, give them to them. But I love my paint. But it's a relief to me when I'm done.
Burden.
It's 100% a burden. This is a terrible painting. This is me not thinking while I'm drawing. This was me drawing on autopilot, and I looked at it and thought, that is just crap. Why am I doing that? How many minutes? 6 minutes. You know why? I got a roll of film to develop. Woo-hoo.
So fun.
Zach, you got a camera?
Film camera, I have a digital. I got a EOS Mark III, I think, a Canon, really super nice Canon.
What do you do with it?
I'm trying to shoot. I got a pretty intimate lens. I'm trying to shoot paintings for prints.
Right. I
So I got the lights. I got the Godox light set up, and I got a Adobe subscription. But
I'm not going to keep my Adobe subscription. I've been using Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator for about 35 years, and I'm getting to the end of that. I don't want to do that anymore. And
Adobe is one of my top 3 enemies.
Yeah. Why?
Just things like like freeware, or sort of like monopolizing, that monopolizing energy, some sort of colonial energy.
Can I tell you the beauty of what Adobe used to be?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
It used to be kind of understood that it wasn't that hard to steal Adobe.
Right.
And Adobe probably had the superpowers that they could have cracked down on the early, especially Macintosh, piracy of their software. Amongst the pirates, honor amongst thieves, we had an understanding of students that it was okay to steal Adobe Photoshop and it was okay to steal Adobe Illustrator, so long as you were still a student. And then you would stretch that into, once you started making money, you start paying for your software.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know where that law came from. It's kind of like keep your stick on the ice. It was kind of an unwritten law that was spread around often enough, kind of in the way that the kids these days do believe in paying for music.
It's like you don't lock up a stolen bike.
Right. Is that a thing?
Amongst bike thieves, I think.
Okay, I didn't. Yeah, that makes sense. Why would that be though?
It's an honor amongst thieves, man.
Okay, can I tell you something?
What's up?
I happen to know a lot of people didn't lock their bikes that I figured should have known to lock their bikes, because I figured they were at least stolen bike adjacent. And I wondered why somebody that I assumed was involved in stealing bikes would be complaining that their bike got stolen, because I figured if you stole bikes, and I consider bike things the absolute worst. But I also think people that buy stolen bikes are bad too.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
yeah. They're accessories.
Right. I met people on the edge of on the adjacent to the edges of bike thievery, getting their bikes ripped off. I'm like, you of all people should know to lock your bike up. And what you're saying right now would be consistent with me being baffled why this person didn't lock their bike up, because I figured they knew enough bike thieves that they probably should know to lock their bike up. But at the same time, maybe they also had faith that they'd get it back, you know?
No, it's like attorney in law or something. You gotta follow the rules, even if you're gonna break them. You gotta follow the rules.
Yeah, or we had a friend that was wanted by the police, and we'd go for like Vietnamese. And one of the things we realized is there's a Bob Dylan line about this. What was the Bob Dylan line? Do you remember? That's the song you should sing tonight. But we'd get to the street and we would inherently feel like we should jaywalk. And halfway across the street, we'd look back and see our one friend standing at the corner just scowling at us. And it took us a while to sort of realize that when you're on the wanted list, you don't jaywalk, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you become super, super law abiding once you're wanted by the man.
Yeah, once you have conditions you can breach, yeah.
The irony of you're a prison of the most basic civil bylaws because the federal government's looking for you.
Yeah. Maybe you're not even warranted yet, but like another one of these rules is like, don't do crime if you're doing crime, you know?
Right.
Like, don't speed in a stolen car.
Right. Or
the double is just not.
Have you ever stolen?
No. Why would you ask?
Wait, what? What was the question? What?
in a stolen
He
car.
didn't hear you and it sounded awkward.
Did-
I have been in a stolen
yeah,
car,
right.
but I didn't
So let me
steal it.
tell you, like, what it's like being a teenager. You're just walking down the street, and your buddies pull up, and the door flings open. They're like, "Get in!" You're like, "Oh my god, we got a car!" And you jump in the car, and you're like, "Oh my god, who's got their license?" And you look over at the driver. You're like, "Oh my god, when did you get your license?" You're like, "Wait a minute, there's no way you passed the license test. I haven't passed the license test. We're the same age. How can you have your license?" And you're like, "Oh my god, whose car is this?" And then they're all laughing because it was the neighbor. Now, okay, the car I got in wasn't like a marble call thief. I have a group of friends from Marlborough, I had a group of friends from Canyon Meadows. The Canyon Meadows car thieving story was you're in the car, you're looking around, you're going, "We don't got a car," and they're just laughing because they took the neighbor's car, right? They took the Rolex car, and they were going for a joyride. And what happened in my case was I quite innocently jumped into a car because my friends had a car, and I believed them when they pulled up that it was their legitimate car. I pieced together by the speed they were going and the mania in which they were driving that it wasn't their car,
Right.
that the driver wasn't licensed,
It wasn't
and that we were in a lot of trouble. By the time I figured it, and this is what bothers me about like adults that don't understand children, I did nothing wrong, right? I got in a car believing it was my friend's car. Then my brain caught up with me and is like, "This is the wrong car," and immediately said, "I got to get out of this car." The problem is the car was going like 70 or 80 kilometers per hour, and it's quite difficult to get out of a car that's 70 or 80. And this was actually the night that I found out that I could live through getting out of a car at about, well, probably 50 or 60 kilometers per hour, because to the credit of my friends, they knew that I would not survive being caught in the stolen car, right?
Right.
So a couple of them's dad was a cop, and a couple of them had more permissive parents than me. A couple of them, the whole block knew each other's families, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm in this car, and one of the kids' dads spots us in the car, and it's a Dukes of Hazzard car chase. This is how like that one kid ran over a cop and went to jail for life, right? Duke of Hazzard car chase. They're all laughing. They know that they're going to get in trouble, but not like life or death trouble.
Yeah.
But they also know that I'm going to get my head shaved if I survive the beating.
Yeah.
And I'm going to boys' school in Saskatchewan or something.
Yeah.
So like in the car with one of the friends' dads driving, the door pops open, and out of love and mercy, my friends kick me out of a moving car, and I go flying through the air into a fence and some bushes. And then they keep driving off to the point where somebody's dad pulled them over, and they all get a spanking, and that was it. The car was returned to the neighbors. The neighbors were friendly enough not to press charges or complain or call the cops.
Yeah.
But
boys will be boys.
I 100% got thrown out of the car of a moving
Rich
car.
will die if he doesn't get
To protect me from my parents, I was thrown out of a moving car. That's a true story. And like sometimes I'm talking to kids at school, and I know they end up in these troubles. They're adjacent to the troubles, right? Their friends aren't thinking. Their friends' brains are melted. They weren't even misbehaving. They were just landed in a situation that didn't. Am I saying this on like? Can I be charged for something like this? I don't know.
No.
Maybe if the Rolex were watching. By the way,
that'd be pretty cute. If
by the way, 25 years later, I become a teacher, and one of the principals and superintendent's last name is Rollick, and I'm like, hope that guy didn't Canyon Meadows, because I think I stole his car once. Or
you did it.
Yeah, but it was like near enough.
You're very cute. It's just like growing up, like you said, you just like, and to be empathetic enough with, like, they're like kids when you're that age, like junior high school, you're like big puppies. Like you have like.
Okay, I'm going to tell you one more thing about that. Sorry. You ready?
Sure.
You remember you had friends, and then in your friend group, there's people that didn't really love you?
Yes.
In your friend group that didn't really love you?
Like when you say that, like.
Okay, in my case, because I moved around a lot as a kid.
Yeah.
Every friend I met came preloaded with a mortal enemy, right? If I made a new friend, their last best friend hated my guts. Or barely tolerated me is probably a better way to say that. And in my entire life, I've never really had a friend whose wife didn't hate me, or a friend whose other friend didn't. I've never like made a friend and then became friends with their friends. Every friend I've ever made from moving around is like at the expense of somebody that didn't like me. That car had 4 or 5 people in it, and only one person in that car actually liked me. The rest of that group, or the rest of that friend group, didn't like me. They tolerated me from proximity or something.
Yeah.
It was incredibly compassionate of them to know enough about me to say, Rich can't survive this heat, and throw me out of the car. And then the group of them took the heat for me. And I'm not sure why even that they did that for me, but it actually ultimately was part of the reason why that friend group fell apart for me. Is like, I think constantly we might have been doing stupid shit and it just wasn't fun because Rich couldn't afford to get caught with the stupid shit that they were doing.
This is so small town Southern Alberta. It's so good.
Yeah, but I mean, I have to get a clear police check every year too, right? And the last time we did, it kind of stalled and it looked like I wasn't going to get it. So I started wondering if one of those police calls where I broke up a fight kind of got recorded the wrong way.
I was like, that's what we were talking about too. Is like, I have that privilege of like, no, of course mine's gonna come back fine. It's like pain in the butt to go through the process, and you're like, must be nice.
Yeah, because we're driving home. Jess rolls the window down and starts teacher scolding this like construction worker
like
who's
45-year-old man.
The construction worker's out of line because he's bullying the 70-year-old older man in a Japanese dragon jacket, and he's pushing this guy around, talking about how it's a gang jacket and how if this guy's going to move here, he can't wear that jacket. And just stops the car in the middle of the street. It's like, you leave him alone. And I'm like, that's cool. That's the right thing to do. But are you considering that we're halfway between the gallery and our apartment? And no matter where we go, this guy knows where we live now. So I'm like, I'm going to have to get out of the car and deal with this. So I get out of the car, and like usual, I ask you to drive away, and you don't. You drive 20 feet away, so you got a head start on him, but close enough that he still knows where you are. And now I got to talk this guy off the ledge. So I walk up to him. The little man leaves. The big man's like up my nose with a rubber hose. And he feels like I'm violating his freedom. Right? I'm like,
that was the beginning of all of that.
I'm like, you can't put your hands on that guy's. And then I'm like, I'm just telling you, I'm not trying to cause a problem. Just telling you, it's not okay for you to put your hands on that guy. And then he starts threatening to call the police. And I'm like, you go ahead and call the police. I'm a Catholic school teacher. Who are they going to believe? So he calls the police. Then he takes off, and then the cops show up. And I'm still tidying up the mess. And I give them my name and all this. But that's happened 100 times since we opened the gallery. My name isn't 100 files of who does this guy think he is, Batman? Or I'm just a troublemaker that won't take responsibility for anything. So I go to get my police file, my police check for school, and it doesn't come through. By the way, the second time was way worse because the first time I had to send a photograph of myself in. The second time I phoned them up for the police check. I wasn't speaking to my dad, and my mom's got Parkinson's, right? Zach Abbott, listen to this, okay? I phoned the police to do my police check and have to do an interview, and they asked me where I was born. I only know that I was born in Edmonton because Eric Volmers told me. I told Eric Volmers in the interview I was born in Calgary. I wasn't really thinking about it, but Eric did some research, found out I was born in Edmonton. I'm trying to get my police check. They're not interested in seeing my passport this time. They're not interested in seeing my driver's license this time. All they wanted was my personal information, and over the phone, I had to tell them what hospital I was born in. I have no idea what hospital I'm born in, and I have no one I can ask. And so I guess the Edmonton General Hospital, and that just so happened to be where I was born. Maybe you need that to break my secret codes. But and then And then so it took like extra months for us to get the police check. And I thought I was going to be out of work in January because they warned us if we didn't have our police checks done by January, we weren't getting paid.
That sounds like a great mystery.
I wanted
Shout
to
out
check.
Edmonton General. That's where I was born.
Ah,
You also were?
I think so. That's the main one there, right? I'm not sure the one, but I know I'm born in Edmonton.
Well, you need to know where you're born because at some point you might need to prove who you are. Apparently, that's one of the questions, right? Like everybody knows this. Kelly, where were you born?
I was born in Ontario.
What hospital?
I don't know. I have it on my birth certificate.
This is what I'm saying, though, right?
Yeah.
You need to know where you're born because it's going to be evidence that you are who you are. If you lose your passport and your driver's license and you go to repatriate, you need to know where you're. Nobody told me I needed to know this, right?
I was born at Foothills.
I
Also-
came here when I was 6 months old. So
Also, you know how you're like always like cleaning out your mom's house, Kelly?
what?
You're telling us about cleaning your mom's house?
Yep.
If you needed a photo of yourself as a baby, you'd just go upstairs and grab the photo album, right?
No, actually, I have it here now.
Okay.
It's actually on this.
Once a year, the staff at my school thinks it's a funny idea to take pictures of the staff as babies and put them up on the wall, and the kids guess which baby that teacher is.
Mm-hmm.
I have one picture of myself in grade 2.
I have it on my phone.
All the other pictures of myself, I think, started around Rumble House time or Gorilla House time. I don't have any pictures from my life. I'm like the child called It.
I have the original teddy bear that I actually had when I was a kid, and it's in the basement. It's missing an eye. It's an elephant. Yellow elephant.
Blind in one eye. What's your elephant's name?
Elephant.
Holy
I didn't have a name for him when I was little. I had him when I was 1.
Jess is going to sing to us, and then the night's over, you guys.
Okay.
Love you. That was a really nice night. Thank you
Right,
for
Kelly?
joining us.
Love you. Thank you.
Bye.
I didn't know which Bill Dylan song, but I picked one.
Does it have the one about if you're gonna break the law, you got to be off? What was that line? You got to be really honest if you're gonna break the law, or how's that one?
I don't know. I don't know the song.
Probably
Well,
Billy the Kid, I bet you.
maybe. Crimson flames tied through my ears, rolling high in mighty traps, pounced with fire on flaming roads, using ideas as my maps. We'll meet on edges soon, said I, proud 'neath heated brow. Oh, but I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now. Half-racked prejudice leaped forth, ripped down all hate, I screamed. Lies that life is black and white spoke from my skull, I dreamed. Romantic facts of musketeers, foundation deep somehow.
Ah, but I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now.
Girls' faces form the forward path from phony jealousy to memorizing politics of ancient history. Flung down by corpse evangelists, I'm thought of those somehow.
Oh,
But
I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now.
A self-ordained professor's tongue, too serious to fool, spouted out that liberty is just equality in school. Equality, I spoke their word as if a wedding vow. Ah, but I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now. These are both really good Bob Dylan hats.
Aren't they?